Welcome back! Today we are diving into Kate Chopin's short story, A Respectable Woman. The story centers on Gaston and Mrs. Baroda, a wealthy, high-society couple living a comfortable life on a massive rural sugar plantation. After a busy winter of hosting parties in New Orleans, Mrs. Baroda is finally looking forward to some quiet, uninterrupted time with her husband. But her peaceful plans are shattered when Gaston invites his old college friend, Gouvernail, to come stay with them for a few weeks. Look at this question from your textbook's Understanding the Text section. Why was Mrs. Baroda unhappy with the information about Gouvernail's visit? Ah, yes, go bitri kodabuchan. Let's look at the real reason. Mrs. Baroda wanted her husband all to herself. Plus, she had already built up a negative image of Gouvernail in her head. She pictured him as an arrogant, cynical society man who would demand her constant attention. So, before the man even steps foot on the property, Mrs. Baroda is caught in an internal battle. She wants to be left alone, but society demands she play the role of the gracious, welcoming host. But when Gouvernail actually arrives, he is nothing like the person she imagined. He is quiet, unobtrusive, and frankly, a bit lazy. He spends his days sitting quietly on the porch, smoking cigars and petting the dogs. This leads right into the next textbook question. How is Gouvernail different from Mrs. Baroda's expectation? Gouvernail lay unlike impresskarna kune preaskardina. He makes zero effort to impress her or seek her approval. He is perfectly polite, but he keeps to himself. This completely throws her off balance. Her initial annoyance fades, and she becomes what the text calls piqued, deeply curious and slightly irritated that he doesn't seem to care about her presence. Gouvernail remains entirely outside the social pattern she knows, leaving her fixated on what he might be hiding beneath that quiet, unbothered surface. The tension reaches its peak one night when Gaston is away. Mrs. Baroda sits alone on a bench outside, so confused by her swirling thoughts that she has decided she must leave her own home the very next morning. Out of the darkness, she sees the red glow of a cigar. Gouvernail approaches, hands her a scarf to keep her warm, and sits down right next to her. Without expecting a reply, he begins to softly murmur poetry to the night sky. In that exact moment, an overwhelming physical urge takes over. She isn't listening to a single word he says. Instead, she is entirely consumed by the desire to reach out into the darkness, touch his face, and whisper against his cheek. This brings us to a critical reference question from your book. What is the cause of conflict in Mrs. Baroda's mind? And what role does being a respectable woman play? Look at this diagram of her mind. Yaha tulo antarik dwandacha. She is fighting a war between antarik jahana, her raw, unspoken physical attraction, and samajik maryada, her strict social duty to remain a proper, loyal wife. The story lays it out directly. She wanted to draw close to him, as she might have done if she had not been a respectable woman. Her title is the absolute only thing stopping her from crossing that line. Unable to handle the weight of this feeling, she stands up and leaves him alone on the bench. The very next morning, before anyone is awake, she takes a train to the city and refuses to come back to the plantation until Gouvernail is gone. Her sudden departure for the city is a frantic attempt to put distance between herself and the feeling she can no longer manage. Throughout the following summer, Gaston tries multiple times to invite his friend back to the farm, but Mrs. Baroda fiercely opposes the idea, and Gaston eventually drops it. Then, before the year is even over, she does something shocking. Entirely on her own, she proposes that Gouvernail should come visit them again. Your textbook asks us to analyze this exact shift in attitude based on the final 3 sentences of the story. When she makes this suggestion, Gaston is absolutely thrilled. He assumes his wife has finally gotten over her initial dislike for his friend, completely blind to the intense, hidden tension between them. Look closely at her exact final words to her husband. I have overcome everything. This time I shall be very nice to him. First, she might mean she conquered her crush and is ready to be a perfectly polite host. Tara yesko bitripura here nehobane, there is a deeper possibility. By saying she has overcome everything, she might mean she has finally overcome her fear of breaking the rules. The path to the open door is clear. This time she won't hold back. Kate Chopin brilliantly refuses to give us the answer. She forces us to ask ourselves, Is true respectability the absence of forbidden desires, or is it just the mask we wear to keep them hidden? Good luck on your exams.